Hey guys, you are listening to episode 8 of the Creative Talk podcast. Today, we got some big news right before we were about to record about 8 hours ago. And we're going to talk about lenses, FD lenses, Cine lenses, still lenses, just lenses in general. Just I'll talk about lenses. But first, let's talk about this new Sony Alpha 1 because it's another new camera.
Dude. Yeah, mind blown.
Oh my gosh. It is. So when you texted me this, you were like, Sony A1, you sent the emoji face. I was like, what is this? I'm like, if James just told me about it, it's got to be something I'm freaking out about. So if anyone hasn't seen the Sony A1 before watching this, the Alpha 1, it's like Sony's all-in-one. It's like all the best elements of all their tiered cameras into one hybrid. It's truly a hybrid camera. I mean,
just
let's pull the specs up.
Looking off the specs, I mean, you got, and it's kind of weird because they say it's a 50.1 megapixel sensor. I don't know why they have to have the 0.1, but I have
the 0.1
seen on two different
just in case
websites.
Canada's 50,
right? And then in the 8K 30 frames per second, the 4K 120 frames, and then the 5-axis in-body stabilization.
I don't even know where to start there. First of all, this puts me in a dilemma on what. So,
and
I'll explain my situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was looking at a new camera this year. Something. I shoot black magic mainly. We do have a couple Sonys. We just bought the A7R3, not the 4, because we were just looking for the price difference. Just didn't make up for it, but we needed a second high megapixel camera to just a second one. We have, we do weddings, me and Caitlin together. So we needed 2 magic cameras on that caliber of megapixels, where the 24 megapixels wasn't matching up with. Caitlin goes all out with her editing. We've mentioned before. So she needs all of her megapixels. So we actually shot, it was an older camera before the client on an older, I think it was like older tech and older lenses in general, and then had the 99 Mark II on higher megapixels. And we had the client asking why some were blurry, and they weren't blurry. It's because one was, they were looking at right next to a 43 megapixels on the 99. I think it is next to I think it was 18 or 16 megapixels on the other camera. Either way, it's like a big difference. So they were thinking some of these were blurry, but we shot it was a wedding. We shot it on just 2 different, 2 different systems, and both of them probably, they look fine, but like when you see them next to each other, they kind of had the chance to like, why does this one look sharper than these? And it was just because they were looking at them right next to this super, super sharp sensor. So we were like, okay, we need to step it up. We started using the 6500 more as the second camera, the 99 Mark II. But then we got the R, and we're like, we just got this R. But when I texted you, we bought it. You bought it, what, a month ago?
I mean,
even
it all started last year where they just, both Canon and Sony, they were just pumping them out. And now
oh my gosh,
we're just continuing it. So it's like,
yeah,
when do you buy?
So so we were like, okay, I wanted a grab and go, kind of run and gun setup for some things. I get the Blackmagic, we can do a whole episode about that. It's one of the biggest pros to it is also its downfall for me is just setup time and build up time. And I do such a variety of video and film work that I need constantly different setups on there. So I get tired of that. And I kind of want like a grab and go. I love like the Red or the Z-Cam setup or the FX6. So because we are invested on E-mount lenses already, I was like, okay, probably need to look at an FX9 or FX6 when that came out.
Yeah.
I was pretty dead set on this FX6 up until today. So now the Sony A1, it's the camera that we were looking for. We need the high megapixels, and I need at least 10-bit full frame. I need good autofocus now. I'm starting to depend on it on some of the smaller jobs a lot. autofocus is becoming really important to me.
Mhm. And
And
yeah, that form factor, man, is so small. Like,
that's appealing to me.
yeah.
But
Mhm.
I love the FX6 body style. I've
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
held one, but I love that top handle, but like you can still rig any camera to I mean that's how I do my Black Magics.
Right.
But if it's a stills camera first at 50
Mhm. Oh,
megapixels has
absolutely.
to be. I'm curious to see the low light performance of the Alpha 1 compared to the FX6 because both are full frame,
Mhm.
but how like the A7S III is able to get such low light is because the megapixels are it's lower, so the pixel are larger, so more. I don't know. There's a whole science behind this. The lower the megapixels, the better low light's going to get
Mhm.
because there's larger pixels to hit the light hit on the less noise that you get in the image. Usually with higher megapixel cameras, you're going to get more noise in video because it's got all the tiny pixels capturing all the photons of the light. And we can do a whole episode going into that. But so I'm curious to see how 50 megapixels is going to affect it onto the FX6. I don't know. I don't know. FX6 is what? Is it 6K? Is it 6K?
I
I can't
think it
remember. It's 5
is.
point
Yeah,
something.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
can't remember.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It
The FX9 is. That's right. The FX6 is. That's
Oh,
one of.
okay.
Yeah, I was thinking it was downscaled. No, it is a 4K camera. So that's 8 megapixels all. I don't believe it's downsampled. So I mean that's a huge megapixel difference if you break it out, if you convert them into megapixels. So I would feel like the FX6 is going to do better in low light,
Mhm.
and that might be a turning factor for me. But right now, we're in the situation where it's like, should we just sell the 99 Mark II or the R and get this camera and check both boxes for I mean, it is everything that we were looking for because we were like, this year we need to get a high megapixel camera, a second one,
Mhm.
and I need an addition to our video gear kit to have something to grab and go with trustworthy autofocus. I can throw them sliders, gimbals, and all that, and not have to worry about it with face detection.
Mhm.
And this camera just falls from the heavens today.
Now, does the FX6, I don't remember, does that have built-in ND filters? It
Yes.
does.
So that
Okay, that's what I thought.
yeah,
Okay.
you reminded me of that. So like that's a big pro right there.
Right. Yeah.
That's huge for me. So the thing is too, the FX6 and the Alpha 1, basically, I think they're the same price. At least no, close enough. I think they're both like 6,000 ish, right?
Yeah,
Close to
the
it.
A1 is 6,500.
It's really,
Mhm.
gosh, I thought it was like 58. That's a lot of money for a kid, but I mean,
It is. Yeah. I'm.
you're getting a
You're
lot,
right.
a lot.
Do you think you would rig
50
that
meg.
up a lot for what you guys do, or would you?
I I don't know because I'm starting to I rig stuff up. I first started rigging stuff up for client perception. We talked about where
Mhm.
I had the 6400. I needed to look like this big camera because I was getting these decent sized jobs. So, but that was when DSLRs. I mean, what was that? 5, 6 years? Excuse me, 6 years ago or so. So that's you know early on in the DSLR revolution where like people were making videos clearly before then, but like it's starting to become more accepted in professional work to see someone show up with just you know, a DSLR body
Yeah,
and know they're doing
absolutely.
video. So I've been rigging less for my quick job, especially weddings, trying to like really simplify my setups just to because like you get to a point where I don't care what you think of my setup anymore as long as my work speaks for
I was
itself.
gonna say because you don't want anything getting in
So
the way either. Because once you
no,
start
and
rigging something up so much, I mean,
yes, and the black magic. I mean, anybody who's handled cages and built things out, things, if you spend a whole day shooting, things usually start to come loose or wiggle and you got to retighten.
right? Yeah.
It gets so annoying, especially when I go from like a handheld setup and then switch over to my gimbal.
Mm.
I have to like a lot 15 to 20 minutes of like going over in the corner, unbolting everything, reconfiguring my cage.
Ooh.
And that was the main reason I got a second black magic was to have one, two different setups at least. But I still end up doing that once
Mhm.
on a wedding. But yeah, and a lot of stuff in the corporate world is quick. It's fast paced. People are going to come in to set up. they don't understand how much time it takes to set up light and all that. We still do. I mean, like, it's kind of something you got to go in once and set the expectation. Like, yeah, it takes time, and then they understand, and
Mhm.
they understand that what you're doing after they see the video, the product you provide. But yeah, I'm going way down another rabbit hole here. But so I think I don't know. I love the idea of having an all-in-one, not rigged up camera. To go back to your point, like I I think I would just like grabbing that and going with in-body stabilization. And if I have autofocus lenses and I have, image stabilization on the lenses too,
Mhm.
having that, what is it? They call it 5 point, it's 5 point something stops of, I don't know. I don't really understand how they measure stabilization and stops, but it's, it's so good nowadays. And like, I'm not running with the camera, but
Mhm.
it's, I don't know. I think it'd be really cool to have that thing just like a grab and go. But then again, I'm not a fan of these DSLR mirrorless bodies and filming on them. I like the top handle kind of run and gun,
Yeah.
but I can still rig it that way.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
why
know.
I'm still gearing towards the Canon C70. Now, don't get me wrong, that
Yes.
when I seen the Sony A1 and all the specs and the form factor and everything, I'm like, man, really makes me wanna switch over, but I'm like, I'm already too invested.
Yeah. See, that's so the C70. I love that body because I feel like I mean, it's not my favorite, but
Mhm.
I would take that over the mirrorless body. It now the
Yes.
C70 is a video first camera.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Video first. I don't even think, does it take stills? I
I
don't think you
don't
can.
think it does. Yeah. Mhm.
So the A1 is a photo first camera with
Mhm.
amazing video features. I mean, you
And
can't fit
that
50 megapixels and not be
yeah,
a
I mean, that's
photo
kinda the
first.
opposite of the, a Sony 7S3 because that's a
Yes.
video
So
first and then cam or,
yeah,
photo second,
I would
so
compare the A7S III more to the C70, but then this is the market's in a really weird spot right now.
mhm.
There's some, I mean, now like you got these like, do I need a photo camera? Need a video camera? Do I need a good hybrid camera? But now you got like versions of hybrid. Then you got like tiers of like how important is photography compared to your video side if you're
Right.
looking at a camera. It's
It's
yeah,
so hard to
it's
decide what you need.
it it is. It's hard to the thing is it's hard to recommend a camera for someone now,
Mhm.
but you can't go wrong at the same time because I think anyone's gonna be happy with anything.
Right.
But the C70, I love how it's kind of like this in between mirrorless body and kind of like the C100s all in one. And if this Alpha One had that set up,
Mhm.
that would probably be like an awkward photo camera. That was the thing, if it was like that.
Yeah.
So that's probably so I don't know. It just the only thing is like for us, what appeals to me is it checks both our boxes. Like that would be it's like Absorb Productions camera, basically, is
Mhm.
we run a photo side and we also have a video side. But I don't know. I don't know. Now you and again, like the C70 I looked at, but lenses was why I'm even considering the A1 and the FX9 is
Mhm.
we're kind of embedded in the E mount lenses.
Yeah,
But
because for Sony cameras, the G Master lenses, are those what mount are those? Are those the E mounts? I don't remember.
yes,
They
yeah.
are? Okay.
G Master is like the high quality one.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you guys don't have any of those,
I
right?
think we have one or
Or
two.
do you?
We're about to
Okay.
buy one. About to get one this week, I think.
Ooh, yes.
The or well, it comes down to that or Sigma, and I always swing towards Sigma. Sigma just the qualities it always seems better
Mhm.
for the. I mean, in my opinion, but like, for when you look at the price,
Right.
I just love Sigma. Sigma is amazing, but yeah, that's the main reason I'm really looking at them. And because if not, like if I was starting from nothing today, I probably would go C70.
Mhm.
Like no questions asked on that. Probably, I'm pretty sure I would. The yeah, because the photo side, um, Caitlin mainly runs all that. She's been shooting on the A mount and then adapting E mount, and then now we're pretty much switching full E mount at this point. And I already had some E mount lenses on my 6500,
Mm.
so it's kind of already there. Um, but I do use a lot of FD lenses too on those. But we didn't talk about like the photo side of we're going on about the video of the Alpha One, but it being a photo first camera, 50 megapixels. Not only that, did you see the no blackout time?
No, I
So
didn't.
50 megapixels up to 30 frames a second.
Oh.
That's wicked. That you know how much data that is? Just I bet you fill cards so fast. So my 6500 shoots 24 frames a second. Like it's video.
Mhm.
It's video in bursts at 24 megapixels. 50 at 30 and no blackout. So it's like the A9 on steroids. Like more like is it for sports? But like you can use it for landscapes. You have all that detail on all those megapixels, and it's just wicked to have that many megapixels to be able to fire off that fast.
Mhm.
That's crazy. Like I think it'd be awesome for wildlife to put it in silent shutter.
Yeah. Mhm.
Have you seen silent shutter before? Like where you turn the mechanical, like it's the
Oh, yes. Yeah.
electronic shutter, silent mode.
Mhm.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing for weddings, but you always have that awkward moment when you're doing like photo shoots of people and you're pushing them, but they don't hear that the classic and they never think you're taking it. So it's kind of awkward. But
When
Caitlin would be over there
in
firing
reality, you're
off, and
probably
I'll be on
taking
the
like 20 or 30.
yes. So yeah, that's something. Me and Caitlin, we usually shoot together. We're doing portraits, family portraits, stuff like that.
Mhm.
She is on the 90 Mark II, taking this front on, the front on portraits, and I usually do the offside candid stuff. But I try to get creative, trying to find like a flower, and grab some branches and whatever,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
try try to get all
I
artsy,
love shooting through
artist.
things.
Oh, I know. They always make cool photos. Like it just, I don't know, it's really cool. Um, but I'll be sitting there doing that, and like they don't even think I'm taking pictures sometimes. So they're like still waiting for me, and I'm like, oh, I got it. Like, but so this is crazy that it can the no blackout is what amazes me.
Mhm.
So you know what that is when like you're firing and you kind of see that shutter,
Yeah. Mhm.
like that kind of fading black, or as soon as you're waiting on that buffer through the. I just bumped my mic. Um, it's none from what they showed in I watched their little promo there. Nothing. Like you just firing and there's no blackout at all. To me, that's just crazy, especially for sports. When you're tracking something or a moving animal, even
Mhm.
that's gonna be awesome. What else?
Yeah,
What
no.
else are we missing about this camera?
Uh,
Oh, did we mention it is 8K? No, did we? Maybe you did.
yeah, I read that off, but yeah, 8K.
8K, yeah.
Like
8K is not impressive no more. We don't care. We already been there, done that. Now, now they say in the ad they say something. I don't remember the exact words, but it does mention about they address overheating in it
Mhm.
and say that it's got heat. So I don't know if that means it can record longer than the R5, or are they stating that you can record forever in 8K?
Mhm.
Because that's
See,
huge.
I wish
If you
that
can,
was something that Canon did because they never addressed the overheating for the Canon R5 when shooting in
yeah, and
8K. Yeah,
they had to know.
that was a
The
mistake, but
R5's been that's been appealing to me too lately.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I think
it
it's
looks really
more
cool.
appealing for me more for photo side um,
Yeah.
than
Well,
anything
that's where
right
I
now.
think,
But yeah,
especially for you, I mean, I don't know if you're looking for a hybrid camera
yeah,
or
mhm.
if you want like a pure and a high. I think I watched Philip Bloom's video on
I did
he looks like he's kind of switched on that why he's shooting R5 all
R5.
the time
Yeah,
now.
hmm
Yeah, and it really makes sense because like the 8K, if you're just walking around and shooting for fun and all,
hmm
like making a video, putting things together, it's usable as long as you're not doing event
yeah,
or probably like long form narrative stuff,
hmm
but it's totally usable to create content that way to use the 8K. But how many megapixels is that? Is that 24?
it is 45, I believe.
I was way off. Really?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's amazing.
the R5 I believe is 45
That's
megapixels, but the R6 is more. Yeah, it's like 24
that one.
or
That's the one
something.
I'm probably thinking of. I
Yeah,
don't know a lot about that one, but
but yeah, if I had the money, I would love to do the R5 and C70, and then I'd be set. That would be my.
would you honestly? I don't know if you actually bought that R5, would you even want the C70? I bet you would probably hold off and think about
I
it
probably
because
would,
what
yeah.
what does the C70 have after the R5? You know? I mean, you have the XLR inputs and
Yeah, I mean,
the
that's
form
about
factor of it.
yeah, that's about it, really, and I mean, you can only shoot in what I mean, it's a the C70 is a 4K camera, but, um,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, I
because 4K
probably
sucks
would,
now. You
yeah,
know, shoot.
because I keep
So I
thinking go ahead.
oh, no, you go. You finish.
I've been thinking about hardcore thinking about starting a YouTube channel, possibly, like, doing, like I know we've
You
even
should.
talked about doing, like a review
Mhm.
channel and stuff like that, so, I don't know,
I think you should.
really been wanting to lately, so and I'd probably right now, I'd use my Canon 6D Mark II, but, I think I want to upgrade, so
You have camera, you have good stuff, but yeah,
mhm,
there's a lot out there now.
yeah, mhm,
There's a lot. The, um, the Alpha One, the one thing that has really got me conflicting between this and the FX6 is I'm probably still honestly still more on the FX6 side since we already bought the R and we have the megapixels
yeah,
kinda covered. But the continuous tracking autofocus, like the touch screen
yeah.
on that, the FX6 doesn't do that like the A7S III does. Just touch something and it will track on that. It won't do that.
The FX6 won't?
It'll track. Nope.
Oh, really? Okay.
Nope, can't touch like, you can touch objects and use it to track on it.
Yeah.
You have to do it manually. It will autofocus, yeah, and it does have face detect for autofocus, but
Oh, okay.
it's just it's just using the touch screen, though, is kind of I think that's so nice to be able to do that, like, on the even the Black Magic just to, like, touch focus points, but,
Mhm.
like, to touch tracking, 6,500 does that. Like, that would be just I don't know. That's kind of my hold up on deciding because a big reason of why I'm even looking at these cameras is for autofocus.
Yeah, right.
And autofocus, and I'm already in the lens line. So, um, what else is there to talk about this Alpha one? I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at
We already talked about it. That's 10-bit, both in 8K and
I
4K.
think so.
Were we talking about that?
So I'm seeing it's 8.6K oversampling.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh,
So yeah,
hmm.
that's freaking wicked. I'm trying to see if we missed anything before we move on
Wow.
here. Yeah, heat dissipating structure is what they say. So
Okay.
that's cool.
And I know that
Um,
I mean, I read it off, but the 5-axis IBIS, that's kind of nice.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's gonna be so cool. It's crazy. It's crazy that this is out now,
Mhm.
or not out now, that they announced this. When does it come out?
I don't
They
think I
didn't say
saw.
today. But it's crazy that they announced this and the FX6 just came out,
I know.
under a year ago. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's really it's a strange market.
Mhm.
It's a strange one. But
It's almost too many options, but then
it really is, and it becomes overwhelming and stressful
yes, yeah.
because there's too many good ones.
Like, because
Now it's weird thinking back. Oh, so it's weird thinking back to like when we got the GH4s.
yeah. Mhm.
That was that was, like, top of the line then, like, for what you could get at that price. GH4 was killer,
Mhm.
and, like, it was kind of a no-brainer. Now it's like, I don't know if you were just starting right now, I don't even know where to start. I wouldn't know. There's so can you imagine, like, not knowing, like, what you're looking at and,
Ye
like, Googling these cameras and, like, trying to figure out what's what?
Mhm.
What's the difference between E mount and EF mount and, like, which one's better? The typical first things when you're a newbie. I don't know.
Yeah, I would
Um
not wanna be well, especially, like, you guys, because I mean, Absorb Productions is I mean, you guys have been doing this professionally, like, for how many years did you say?
um, Professionally, probably 6,
6 years? Okay, yeah.
6 or so, I think.
Yeah, so I could only imagine if somebody what like, wanting to do kinda what you guys do, looking into
Like, where
all
to
these
start?
cameras. Oof.
Just buy one. Well, buy what you can afford,
Yeah, yeah, that's the
because,
biggest thing. That's
uh,
really the biggest, like
whatever you can afford, and
Mhm.
there's something great in every
And
budget range
I
now,
I
but
would probably say along with that, I would say, like, obviously, sure, saving up for a camera, but don't like, I feel like some people would save up for the biggest one and just continue
mhm.
to wait and wait and wait. But I mean, like you just said, all the cameras are good. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was originally saving for an FS7. I was looking at FS7, FS5,
Mhm.
and they weren't new when I was looking at them. But then this Blackmagic came out. Seen it at I just seen it online when it came out. I literally didn't. I looked at it. It's like interesting, ugly. Didn't care for it. And I think it had been out for almost a year, almost before like I started looking at what I really needed, what I was looking for to step up the quality. And then I just started looking more at Blackmagic. I was looking at the Ursus. And then
Mhm.
of course, you keep coming across a Blackmagic Pocket. It's still all over. Everyone talks about it. And it just checked every box, and I felt like an idiot for not at least buying one
Mhm.
to try it out because it's so affordable. And then yeah, I don't regret buying them. I don't. I just think our company's just expanding and doing a variety of stuff to where there's different tools I need for certain jobs. But yeah, I
Right.
love the Blackmagic. I forget what I'm talking about.
Yeah, kinda
What were we talking
what
about?
yeah, 'cause, wow, man,
What did you say?
we were talking about something along the lines of the
Get starting into like what
yes.
you'd buy
Yeah.
now, or
Mhm.
yeah, I don't remember what point I was trying to make there. But anyways, lenses. Um, yeah, so like starting off, we want to talk about we're just gonna talk lenses. Cine lenses. What's the difference between Cine lenses and still lenses,
Mhm.
and like FD lenses, all kinds of lenses. So, have you ever used FD lenses?
No, I actually have not.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? None? Oh, we
Because
should totally try them out.
yeah, because my, obviously, I have 2 Canon lenses, and then just the other one is the, Sigma 1835. Mhm.
Really?
Mhm.
Wow. All new high-end super sharp stuff.
Right.
No, no. So I started out on FD lens. I bought the Nifty 50
Mhm.
for Canon, adapted it to my GH4, and then I just started collecting FD lenses. I got a whole bunch of FD lenses. I love the look. They're so cheap.
Mhm.
They're so cheap.
Yeah.
And you can send them out. I mean, they make those gears you can put on with like a follow focus. But they have I've had some that kind of screwed me, especially when I started mixing lenses.
Mhm.
FD lenses have a very unique look. They're usually washed out, less contrast. I mean, depends on make and model, but they're usually all kind of like a vintage look, and they flare differently. And I had an issue with one where it was just flaring. It was one of I think it was Canon 50, and it flared so much of this wedding. I couldn't even get it was just too much flare. But like they're kind of unpredictable, but each one's got their character, I think. Yeah, we should totally get next time we're together. I'll bring some FD lenses to try out on your G4 and
Yeah,
just
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I got a 50, the Helios.
Oh,
The
okay. Yeah, I do
I'm
remember
sure you
those.
seen that.
That's
Yeah, I
the
got one of
tiny
those.
one, right? No,
No,
that's the
I had yeah, so that's another one. That one is actually I don't think that's considered an FD lens. That
oh,
is
okay.
a oh my gosh, I don't know what that is. It is like an itty bitty it's ridiculous. I don't even know what to I'll have to look at what that's called. I forget that mount. It's a really weird mount. Um, yeah, I don't know what that is. But yeah, FD lenses are a great place to start in. They're cheap. Um, really cheap. You find them everywhere online, eBay, Amazon. One of my favorite lenses is an FD lens. Is that 135
Okay, yeah, I remember. Yeah,
prime,
yeah, I remember seeing
the
you seeing
2.8.
shots of that.
Yeah, I used that on you for the episode where we talked
Yes.
about your film.
Yeah, the outside. Yeah,
It's a
turned out
beautiful
really
lens, but
well.
like it is soft. But it's
Mhm.
like a creamy soft. It's not bad, but it's just, and that's something that I really learned and paid attention to about a year or so ago was like lenses can add such a look and characteristics to what you're trying to go
Mhm.
for. Do you want like that vintage look, FD obviously to go there, but if you want like a super sharp, modern looking, you know, look, lenses also can affect colors
Mhm.
more than what people think. Colors, I know, like, uh, I don't know. It's just, I also like functionality of them.
Mhm.
FDs are smooth. Usually they're all smooth. with the pull focus pulls and all that. You could also get them declicked or declick them yourself. Have you seen people do
Ooh.
that?
No, I
You
haven't.
can
That's
declick the
nice.
aperture. I attempted it once and broke a 28 millimeter, but
Oh, wow.
it's not broke. I just can't figure out how to put it together and I have time to
Huh.
figure it out, but whatever. They're so cheap. I'll probably just buy another one.
Mm.
There is a 55 millimeter. I really want FD lens. I think it's a 1.2 or something. Super, super sharp, but or super shallow. So not sharp. But yeah, then you got the still lenses,
Yeah.
which are usually um which I mean the Sigma lenses that we use, they're still lenses.
Mm.
Have you used what Cine lenses have you used outside of your still lenses?
Um, I used a set, I believe, back at Ball State. I want to say it was Canon. I believe it was Canon. Um,
Of Cine?
yeah.
Ooh,
And
Canon Cine.
those were, gosh, because there's, let me see, I wrote it down um,
Oops, just bumped
in
my
my
mic.
notes about, hmm, I don't know, but it's just nice with the Cine lenses, though. Having all those rings, the manual focus, the zoom, and the
The
aperture ring.
gears,
That's
yeah.
that's when I used them back at Ball State, and I didn't really use them a lot because um, it's just like the projects I did never really called for it. But
Yeah.
something nice about Cine lenses, and I was watching. I don't remember who I was watching, but they were talking about how um, Cine lenses are great, like if you're shooting like on a rig or a gimbal or something like that, because if you're if you're shooting with still photos, if you're zooming in and out, you might have to recalibrate every time depending on what kind of still photo lens you have.
Oh, so yeah. So Cine usually that's because they're primes.
Yes,
So
yeah.
Cine
Mhm.
there are Cine zooms. I had my
Yeah,
eyes
that's
on those
right.
Fuji non ones I've
Right.
wanted forever, but
Mhm.
um yeah, because the primes you never happen to zoom.
Mhm.
Which I actually like using still lenses on gimbals more now, just because I don't have to deal with.
Right.
Usually, you can shoot shallower because of autofocus nowadays is so good.
Mhm.
Um, a fun fact, tipped, whatever you want to call it. If you're shooting on a gimbal and you really want that shallow background, but you either can't pull focus at all or having trouble, you can use compression instead. So if you shoot like an f4 or an f5.6 on a longer lens, like an 80 or even 100 millimeters on a gimbal, you give much more room for focus and still be able to compress that background and blur it and exaggerate those movements. That's just a tip I found out later on using gimbals because it is difficult when you have a cine lens on there and you're trying to pull focus at the same
Yeah.
as a one man band
Yeah.
and
Oh, for sure.
trying to nail stuff and pull focus. Yeah, it can get difficult that way, but cine lenses usually are better made for focus pulls, focus breathing. I have the Makey or Mika set. Love those.
Mhm.
There's like no focus breathing at all. I love them for that. They usually have like a cool they're kind of good between contrast. They're kind of a neutral maker. I like them. So I can kind of mix them with anything, whether I'm shooting Sigma on the other ones or FDs.
Mhm.
I use Probus filters on those though. But um
I would say the one major downfall of Cine lenses, I guess it kind of depends on like what line you're going for, but the price stops a lot of people.
yes. Yes,
Mm.
they're ungodly expensive for less features almost.
Oh yeah.
No folks, but which I'll throw out again, those Mako lenses are a
Mhm.
great buy. I mean, you always Rokinon's been around.
Yeah,
Rokinon's been
Rokinon
around for a long
has
time.
and I believe their Cine lenses of the ones that I've seen that come in like 4 and 6. I think those are gosh, what the heck is that word? They're like I think I may be mistaken. I don't know, but they're like a pseudo Cine lens, which is basically
I
like
don't know what that is.
um, let me see. I have it written down in my notes here. So like a pseudo cine lens is basically it's like a digital photo lens that offers some of the functionalities of cine lenses and can be used on DSLRs. So it's kind
So
of
it does that have electronics inside of it?
yeah,
So you can actually
it's
like,
kind of almost like a hybrid
and it's
kind of.
geared?
Yes.
Huh.
Right.
I've never
Yeah,
seen
some
that.
of the functionalities of cine lenses. Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
more.
I didn't know that.
I I don't remember if that line of Rokinon lenses is that or not. Because there was that one, and then there was another one that came to my mind earlier, but I don't see it in my
SLR
notes right
Magic.
now.
SLR Magic, beautiful lenses. I love SLR Magic. I was thinking about getting rid of my Mega and swapping out for a set of SLR Magic.
Oh
Have you seen SLR Magic lenses? The
no.
Cine Prime, oh my gosh, you have to look them up. They're beautiful. They just have that. They're like modern made, but they kind of have that. It's kind of like the most modern vintage look you can get
Oh
in it. It
okay.
just, I love the look off of them so much, so much, and they're really affordable. They make them an E mount too. I think they make them about everything. I'm thinking about getting them on everything, but I got some of my Black Magic, and I've used some. But I'm thinking about selling some lenses and swapping out, or just adding to my collection and getting some
Yeah, we.
SLR Magic. But there's the pros and cons to the Cine lens and still lenses. I like the look of SLR Magic,
Mhm,
but I'm needing some autofocus. I need that, and I'm not gonna get that with those. So
mhm.
that's another reason I'm kind of looking at more still lenses because I kind of need that autofocus, and autofocus is so good nowadays.
Which I think that's what a
But
lot of people are really going towards because, I mean, like we
there's
said,
almost because like
cine lenses really have their time and place. I mean, if you're not shooting, like you said, if you don't have somebody pulling focus, and it's just kind of not useful.
mhm,
Like
mhm,
it's just
yeah.
yeah.
So I would say Cine lenses you have more control,
Oh, you do for
but
sure.
because of that, you have more responsibility with the lens. It's one more thing to do.
Mhm,
So I think, like with our film coming up, I want Cine lenses. I want manual lenses because there's some things I don't. I don't want to worry about the camera pulling focus to things.
mhm,
I want to have full control of what's being. You can do focus pulls here and there to a character to an object. That's kind of harder to do on an autofocus lens, even if you do a touch focus or it's just it's never as smooth or it doesn't feel as organic
mhm.
as a manual Cine lens.
Yeah,
So I think you get more of an organic feel, more control. So I think Cine lenses have their place in cinema. I think if you're a filmmaker and you're shooting a narrative, nothing's wrong with Cine lenses because
yeah.
you're in control. You know exactly what's happening where. Now, if you're an event, if you're an event filmmaker, wedding films, or you're running and doing some corporate stuff, I think still lenses autofocus. I mean, you can depend on it. I know. I mean, and it works. For me, I need it for like my second camera and gimbal use.
Mhm.
That's just one last thing.
Yeah, I would probably go even as far as still photo lenses for if you're doing a run and gun documentary. Like that's yeah,
Yes.
I would definitely.
Mhm.
I mean, the few documentary ideas that I've had in the past, I don't think I would really do unless I'm doing it like a sit down like interview maybe. But I mean,
Yeah.
but
Especially if you're on your own,
yeah,
you can set the camera up and just sit beside it while if you're conducting an interview and shooting. Like when I first started, I did a lot of that, my 6500. And I was so thankful for the autofocus because it takes it takes you and the person you're interviewing out. You got to keep checking the camera,
mhm,
and it breaks the conversation and then you're not really listening. You're more focused. Like, is the camera still in focus? Did they move? But when I was able to just turn face detect on, it was nice to like just sit back and trust the camera
mhm,
to do this one thing it needs to do is focus on someone's face. And because of that, I'm able to shoot at a shallower depth of field sometimes, which can be helpful when you're in ugly settings and you got to kind of hide it some. But the Cine lenses, I'm usually stuck at like, I got to put it like an F4 or something if I want to like, or even higher, just to make sure if they rock or move or just, I don't know. That's the pros is autofocus mainly.
mhm, yeah.
to Cine. And if you're into still lenses, you can convert to Cine lenses. They You make those gears. I got some for my Sigma
Oh, yes,
1835.
I do remember. Yeah, I
Mhm.
remember you talking
There's
about
like 3D printed gears you can get. There's also the zip tie things you can get. You hook them up to follow focus and wireless follow focus gears the same way you would a Cine lens,
that.
and you
Okay,
can get
yeah.
more of the organic feel to them. But
And you've used those though,
usually,
have you?
mhm,
You have?
yeah, I
Okay,
use it
yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I always got a tilted or just a regular or wireless follow focus or the um, standard
Mhm,
whatever standard follow focus on there. Um, but yeah, so like still lenses are way more versatile.
yeah. Mm,
Now the pros to cine lenses is control. Usually focus breathing is better than still lenses. Usually
mhm,
almost in every case it's way better. Focus breathing is when you pull focus and like for anybody who doesn't know out there, it's when like you pull focus from one object to something closer and the background looks like it kind of shrinks or expands. And the cine lens will usually pull that really smooth, where it just literally will only pull the focus and not any what's the word? What am I looking for, James? Like the background doesn't look like it has like a vertigo effect almost.
mm.
Like it doesn't. You'll see this in other lenses if you tap the focus out and then in, out and then in. You'll see the background almost shrinks or compresses. But cine lenses do a good job at that. Um, and cine lenses usually are all declicked apertures too, and they're
Mhm,
at T
yes,
stops.
yeah, mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, cinema lenses also, from what I've, like, experienced, don't have, like it like, either eliminates or, like, or reduces the, chromatic, like, aberrations, like
Hmm.
the,
Yeah,
vignetting and, things along that nature, but they,
cine lenses. Sorry,
no, you're
sorry.
good. Yeah, I think they produce some of the most beautiful, um, bokeh? Is that bokeh?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so. Which that's something we could mention too. Here's bokeh. It bokeh. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
what
right.
it's
That's
called.
why I'm like,
I
I hear
say
people
I
say
say
that.
bokeh. Um, bokeh. Bokeh is another thing. Bokeh characteristic in lenses
Yeah.
is is it, it's all different.
Mhm.
Um, like the Helios lens I have looks more anamorphic for some reason. It's kind of like stretched out. You get these weird,
Hmm.
like it's cool looking. Um, actually, I got a from Vid Atlantic. I had bought an anamorphic thing that warps the focus on the Sigma 1835. Looks really cool.
Is that like a little
But
piece, that you I fr
mhm.
I think I have that.
Do you?
I think
I want to
so.
see. It's like a little plastic thing with a string in the
Yeah,
back.
yeah. Because I
You
think I
go
bought it a
unscrew,
long
put it.
time
Yeah.
ago when I did the, what was that for the GH4? It was like that you had to pay for. Is it?
Vlog.
Yeah, Vlog, yeah. Because when I did that,
Oh
I
yeah.
bought that also because I had a friend that told me about it. Because he had a
Oh, it's awesome.
GH3 at the time, and, yeah. I
It's by Vid Atlantic, I believe.
Yes, it is, yeah,
Yeah.
mhm, yeah.
I think I remember talking to you about it a while back when I got it. The only complaint I have about that really is you can't crank your aperture.
Mm,
You have to shoot wide open. You get that horrible vignetting,
yeah.
which is it's yeah. And I ended up taking it off. It looked cool, but I had to crank it, and I was like, man, this vignette is terrible.
Yeah, I
But
think that's why
it looks
I
cool.
haven't, I think I maybe used it once or twice, but
Do you like anamorphic? Anamorphic lenses is something we can talk about too. We need to
yeah,
touch
I'm
that.
not as,
Um,
well
yeah,
versed
we're
in
kind of everywhere,
anamorphic, but
guys.
I had a friend that, had a bought had bought an anamorphic lens, but it was it was so impractical because the weight of that thing, and it was pretty cheap. I think he said it was only like a couple $100. And I wish I could remember what kind of was what brand, but yeah, the weight of it and the size, it was just like it was so heavy once you put the lens on that like it just you'd be afraid to put it on a tripod because you'd be afraid they would fall over or just like it'd be too much for the the locks and everything, like
Mhm.
to be able to hold.
Was that on the Panasonics? You guys were using anamorphic lenses?
Yeah, we tried to use the
Lens?
anamorphic lens, but it didn't work out. Yeah, it was. Plus, it was just it's kind of a hassle, really. At least the one that he
Yeah,
got, it may have been kind
they
of
usually are.
mhm,
Um,
yeah.
there's Siru or Siri Siru, how do you say that?
Hmm.
Siru, you seen their new anamorphic lenses?
I don't think so.
They're they're, like, really affordable, and
Really?
I think they're 4 or $500 or something. I don't really remember, I probably should look it up real quick, but it's yeah, they just came out with some anamorphic they came out with the 50 first, and
Okay.
I think they just came out with the 24? I could be wrong, and I think they're doing an 85, so, like so I could be wrong. I know the 50, I think there's 24 out now. They came out with 2. They're working on a 3rd, or the 3rd might be out. They're coming with a set, and I'm really, really, really interested in those, and I'd like to get a the thing is, the anamorphic lenses is I can't find a good enough an affordable set,
Yeah.
you know? I don't wanna like, if I buy just a 50,
Mhm,
it's probably fun to play with, but, like, I need I need range, you
mhm,
know? I need to
exactly, and
I
that's
don't
the
know
thing
what
with
scenario I'm
Cine
gonna be in.
lenses. Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, honestly, it's best to buy them in a set
Yeah, oh, for sure.
if you're serious. I mean, if you wanna play around and get something or start slow,
Mhm,
nothing's wrong with buying them individually. But, yeah, I think it's best to get a set. For me, I would need a I'm really loving 24, a 16 or 24 for my wide,
mhm.
um, a 50 or 30, and an 85. That's
Yeah,
those
okay.
would be like the
Yeah.
Cine primes I'd want. Like that I could shoot a whole film on those, you know. And that's what I got now.
Mm,
But like those are like if I had to choose 3, it needs to be 24, a 50, and an 85. There. Then I got my wide, my medium, and a telephoto. I think you do some damage with those.
yeah. Mm.
I think. Um, but,
Yeah, another thing is too, like this, Cine lenses are typically a lot heavier and made,
mhm,
um, like at least the ones that I've handled are all metal. So it's
mhm.
that could be a downfall,
They do
but
seem to be.
yeah.
Yeah, they are heavier, yeah, like, especially if you're a travel filmmaker or anything like that,
Mhm.
I wouldn't go around with a bag full of Cine Primes, but,
Well,
um
like, and you would think you would do this with every lens because lenses aren't cheap, depending. But when I was back at Ball State, they would tell us like if we're handling the Cine lenses and we're handing it off to somebody, taking it off the camera and switching them out, is always say "got it" before you let
yes,
go.
that's something I've learned too working around, and it's literally with anything on set. It's like, "You got it? You promise?"
Exactly. And
Uh,
both hands, please.
yeah, both hands and a foot. Just lay down when we hand it.
Right.
Uh,
But I do kind of want to mention lighting a little bit with the, uh, especially with the Cine lenses. Well, at least for narrative, which I've that's what I've done more of in the
do
past.
Cine lenses, or at least the ones you used, they do normally better in low light, aren't they? They normally go
Yes,
down to like
yeah,
a T 2.2 usually.
a lot better in low light.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they can
Seems like they're
shoot.
all
I
good.
mean, yeah, they can shoot under like some pretty like direct sunlight. Like they're pretty good
Mhm.
at shooting in direct sunlight. If that's something you're
So
doing, like at high noon or something like that. Um, but yeah, lighting, especially for narrative, like you could have like the best of the best, like the $100,000 cinema lens, but if your lighting is not good, then
yes. And I don't think we get stressed out enough here is lighting takes to a whole nother level. I
it
mean,
does.
you
Mm.
could have the cheapest stuff. I would if I start now, I'd get some FD lenses because FD lenses I feel like are the poor man's cine lenses, right?
Yeah.
Because like it you get the smooth focus pull. They're usually cheap primes,
Mhm.
and you don't have autofocus, so it's a cine lens. No, but yeah, but lighting, yeah, lighting I think is really important, especially people who are in the situation like maybe your lens only goes to an f 3.5 or like a 4.6 or something, you
Mhm.
know, the minimum. And it's like, do you get a better low light lens or a lights? Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. So
Because
with narrative, most narratives are shot at like most of the time it's like an f4 or
mhm,
so.
yeah, and
So
especially, I mean, combining cine like I mean, it doesn't really matter. Cine lenses, still photo lenses with lighting. You really have to be careful about people's skin tones. That's one of the major things,
yes.
at least for me. Like
Uh,
that's huge.
mhm. Lights, they're all getting better, but yeah, I've had some cheap ones where you get some conflicting colors, whether
Mhm.
magenta or like a green. They which sometimes that can be the factor of the lens, and then you
Yeah, yeah.
it's, it's a lot of equations that could go into like when something's off like that. But yeah, the lighting's really important, especially I don't know. Say you have an F, say your lens is an f5.6. That's what you have right now. You got to shoot a film.
Mhm.
Are you gonna spend save $1,000? Would you take that $1,000? That's probably too much toward a light or lighting or another lens that's just better in low light.
I'd probably go lighting, probably. Mhm.
Would you?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
don't know. I feel like if I had a f4, I'd probably go lighting.
Mhm.
If I have like a 5.6, I probably would go for a lens
Okay, yeah.
nowadays. I mean, I probably would. When it comes to like lighting for, I guess it depends what you're doing. If you're lighting for narrative, I think lighting really shapes the story too. You
Mhm.
know what you're trying to make people feel. And stuff. Now, if you just wanting to document things as is, if you're doing like a wedding, obviously, I mean, you can get a couple cheap lights. You're not running around with, you know,
Yeah.
8x8 diffusion and a whole grip crew. But um, yeah, I'd probably go with I'd probably get me another lens like a f2.8 or a
Oh, yeah,
1.4,
okay,
whatever I
yeah.
can afford.
Mm.
But I think that would be more useful than investing in lighting. Like a lens would make more sense, I think, if you're doing event stuff or just need to document it that way. But if I was doing narrative and I really wanted to control the light and
Mhm.
use it to tell a story, I'd probably go lighting.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to
Um,
see, like when, it comes time to film that, uh, what you guys are working on. Uh,
Heirloom.
yeah, be
Hmm.
because you said
Yeah.
you wanna, like are you thinking you want to buy your own set, or you want to you think you'll rent, maybe?
Oh, I think I got everything. I think I bought my
Oh, are you gonna
I have
use
my own
what
kit.
you have?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh yeah,
okay.
I got stuff to do. I'm far along enough into doing this.
Mhm.
I've accumulated a kit. Yeah, there's not much I need to get for the film. I
Yeah,
kind of
that's
want to
nice.
use what I got to. Yeah, I don't think I really need to get anything for it. I don't know. There's no budget. I mean, if there was a budget,
Mhm,
yes, I would probably rent a bigger light. I could probably use a couple brighter ones for some other things. But I think what I got, I can do a lot of damage with.
mhm.
Um,
And that's the kinda nice thing. I mean, it sucks that, like, in our field that we have um, like, cameras, especially between that last year and this year already, like, cameras are just the bodies are just pumping out, but, like, with lenses, lighting, audio gear, I mean, you can get away with, using stuff that's older.
yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, and I honestly, actually, I'm gonna try this and do a test. I want to boom my phone, like strap my phone to a
Oh,
boom
yeah, okay.
pole and use an audio recording app and see how well that sounds and show people that you don't need. I mean, I've used my phone before. We've used it on the podcast as a backup.
Yeah, mhm.
Rode. Speaking of Rode, just came out with a new app. I'm really liking this. It's really user friendly and really easy. I forget what it's called to audio record. I think they made it for some of their phone mics, but it's free.
Really?
So yeah,
Hmm.
that's my new audio recording thing for my phone.
Does it pair with,
So
like is it just for the phone, or does it pair with, like, mics or
I think it's meant to pair with one of their mics because they made a mic for the phones, but
Okay, yeah,
I just use it on the
yeah.
phone mic. But so what do you think you'll ever like where we're at? Do you think you'll keep investing in stills lenses or are you gonna go cine lenses?
I really kinda wanna go see, that's the conflict that I have because I mean, if I wanted to start a YouTube channel, I mean, there's no need to start with Cine lenses, but I want it to
Mm.
be and then on the other side of things, I wanna be professionally, I want to be a director, and I'd like to have my own, like, some sort of cine set. But I mean, at the same time, it's like if I was a cinematographer and I wanted to only be a cinematographer, then I would definitely have, because
Mhm.
having those will be uh, better in the long run for you. But yeah, as like wanting to be a director, I'm like, "Ah, do I
Yeah, I
really?
mean,
I want them.
as a director, producing your own films, I mean,
Yeah,
you would find a production company like me
exactly.
who has already, blown all their money and life savings on. I'm just kidding. Um, but yeah, yeah, I don't know. See, even for me, even what I do, um, I don't always have a focus puller,
Mhm,
but I do like I enjoy using cine lenses. But I never feel like I've needed one, except for like narrative stuff or like when I sit down with the client and we're storyboarding stuff out and we're shot by shot and like we're really putting a lot of thought into what we're doing.
mhm,
I'll go cine lenses for sure if everything's planned. But if like we're running in and I'm not quite sure what I'm doing, I'm just shooting an interview and I'm probably gonna go find this guy somewhere on the other side of some corporate plant and film them doing like cine lenses kinda get my way
mhm.
for that kinda stuff. Um, I've missed focus before too, and that could also go into, like, your monitor and what you're seeing, but autofocus, I have only been autofocus has failed me once in an interview. It was just pulling in and out, breathing
Mhm.
back and forth on one. I was able to hide it with some B-roll, but yeah, and that was because I was new to S-Log and I overexposed the crap out of it. I ruined the shot, but, yeah, it just autofocus wasn't working right that way with it blown out, but I was able to hide it. So, autofocus I kinda wanna um, go against myself here. I keep talking about autofocus like it's a good thing, like it's better, it's better, it's better. It can screw you if if you're doing an interview, you could you can look at it both ways. Pull focus, set the focus point, and that is not moving. Nothing's gonna pull that focus. But
Mhm.
if you're doing an interview outside, I have autofocus on, and say you face detect and you're doing an interview like on a sidewalk, there's people walking in the background. It could pull focus to them, the background, or even a bird, or it's like sometimes I've had trees. Like read trees is like fate. You know what I mean? That's like
Yeah.
it can be unpredictable. But autofocus is getting better. And if you're aware of knowing your camera, knowing what the autofocus is capable of, what lenses do better in autofocus, like some adapting lenses, you can have troubles with. There's a whole world of adapting lenses here too. But
Yeah, I mean, I think I know there's a couple YouTubers that I used to watch that would always say, "Oh, if you're shooting auto, that's terrible." Like, no, it just like
mhm.
it definitely has its place. Like, just for
Yep.
everything, just like cine lenses, like they have their time and place, and yeah.
And that was me a couple years ago. I was like, autofocus, don't need that ever. Like,
Hmm.
I'm a cinematographer. I shoot manual, man.
Yep.
But it's like nowadays it's kind of ignorant to think that.
Yeah. Mhm.
If you think that I mean, autofocus is useful and it's great, and if you know how to use it, you can do some really nice things with it.
Mhm.
It gives you the ability, even as a smaller production crew, to do things that you couldn't do. Like
Right.
I can do some moving jib shots now on interviews and keep a face in focus, where I would have to hire somebody to sit there with a focus puller and pull focus the whole time on that if I'm conducting an interview or rolling the camera somewhere else.
Mhm.
It's like autofocus can save you money in that way where you don't, what I mean? That's a job that you can invest in the camera with good autofocus and not to hire someone to have to be manual focus if you're doing like a two camera setup type deal.
Mhm.
So to me, it saves me money in that way to be able to have that autofocus. And that's why I am looking at like the A1 or the FX6 because focus pulling is a job position I usually have to hire out for.
Mhm.
And looking at those cameras, it kind of pays for itself in that way
Yeah.
for every job that I would do that I'm using autofocus. There's just there's no right or wrong.
No, no,
Um,
yeah, not at all. I mean, everything's so,
mhm.
I want to say, accessible. I mean, obviously, there's not everybody can afford it, but starting in, and there's cameras, lenses, all kind of like the Canon Nifty 50. That was like what,
Nifty
125
50.
bucks, like.
I think I bought mine used for like 50 or 60
Did you?
bucks.
Yeah.
I don't think I paid 100. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's the Nifty 50. Anybody out there new to photography or video, get a Nifty 50, right? If you have
Mhm.
not got that and you're still using that kit lens, that Nifty 50 is so cheap and it really changed the way I was using the camera when I got that back on my old Canon days, the Canon T2i.
Yeah.
Really did. I remember seeing the bokeh on that for the first time. I was like, whoa, looks like a movie. But yeah, it felt like I had a real camera then, even for photography. You get that 50. But I think anybody also starting out after the 50, start looking into FD lenses. Super cheap. You get that heavy quality. They feel nice. They are heavy.
Mhm.
You get the smooth focus pulls. If you really want to start getting into the manual kind of usage of lenses, FDs are a good place to go. And FDs, especially if you're wanting that vintage look, if you're wanting a certain characteristic out of a lens, FD lenses all the way. All these newer lenses are too perfect, you know.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
mainly why I mainly use ProMIS filters anymore
Okay.
on all
Yeah.
these lenses.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I love ProMIS filters. It really knocks them back a little bit from not being so sharp,
Mhm.
and I don't know. But in the corporate world, that kind of is fitting. Sometimes get that super sharp, clean look. But doing that kind of stuff, which is majority of what I do.
Yeah.
But every now and then I'll get something as a fitting. If I'm trying to tell like a deep story about a company or a brand or an internal story, I'll use my ProMist to start getting a little artsy with it. But um, yeah, I don't know what else to say about lenses. There's a lot. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think we hit on some good points for those.
yeah, this was just kind of we just want to talk about lenses. Hope someone found it entertaining.
Right.
Um, it's just I don't know. I mean, let's like start with them and just
Mhm.
lenses are it's a whole world. It is a whole world.
You could literally have a whole
Um,
entire YouTube channel just dedicated to that.
To lenses,
Yeah.
yeah. Review lenses, talk about mounts, pros and cons, characteristics, sharpness. I mean, how different lenses perform on different mounts, different camera bodies. Yeah, because like we talk about cameras a lot, but then it's like lenses are
Mhm.
the other half. They're 50% of the
Yeah.
camera.
If not
But
more, I mean, what is it they
mhm.
say you could put uh, a good lens on a crappy camera, but if it's there's a
That's
yeah,
so true.
it's like yeah.
So when you would talk me into getting this 18 to 35, and I pulled my GH4 back out and put it back on my GH4, felt like a whole new camera.
Mhm.
Felt like I brought my GH4 back into the future, but I was kind of upset I was never using this lens
You're
on that
right.
setup to begin with. But um, yeah, I love the 18 to 35.
Mhm.
I mean, who doesn't? There's kind
Yeah,
of like this
yeah,
running
it's my
joke now with the
go-to.
Black Magic.
Right.
Here's and all the Black Magic Facebook groups. So everyone's like, I don't know. Everyone's making fun of everyone who's using the 18 to 35 because everyone uses it
Right.
for good reason. But I see why. But um, yeah. So we thought we would just do an episode talking about lenses. I'm sure we're gonna talk about. You think we'll talk about lenses ever again?
Oh, yeah.
you think? Do you
No, I
think?
don't think so. I think we're
So,
pretty much done with it.
yeah, done with lenses. That's all there is to know about lenses. But um, and then yeah, that Sony Alpha One hit us today
Yeah,
out of nowhere. Yeah,
I'm really interested to see some reviews on that.
I am too. I want to see overheating, obviously,
Mhm.
and I want to see we'll see some footage. I
Mhm.
don't think we've seen much footage from it. Did we just seen the photos, right? In the ad? I didn't see everything yet, but
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
think
we've
they
seen any
had,
footage.
I watched on the Sony's
Oh,
Instagram, they had like a 2.5 minute thing, which I
they
assume
did have some clips.
yeah.
Now I think back, they did have some clips of like the eye tracking and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, and it showed that they had animal face detect,
Mhm.
even upside down
Yeah,
faces.
like,
Like,
what?
what? I don't know. That's weird. That's crazy how these things can find that. But
I know, and
yeah, so
I'm hoping that, this is the way this year continues. I hope, we keep getting things with
I don't. It's
Right.
too much. I gotta get something, but I just don't know what. I
Yeah.
still think I'm on the FX6. I think still, um, mainly because I need XLR and internal NDs are
Yes.
game changing. So those are two big things,
Mhm.
and this Alpha 1,
Same exact reason I'm looking at the
unless
C70 still, yeah. Mhm.
yeah, C70 is amazing. That looks so cool. I love the I don't know. But the I don't know why the R5 has the adapter to use EF lenses, right? And in that adapter, they have that variable ND?
Yes, I
One
think
of
they
the
do. Yeah,
Canon
I
has
think you're right.
why
Mhm.
that's amazing. Why can't they come up with something I don't think it'd work with flange distances on some of these cameras, but something to like add on, even sell it separate
Mm,
to that's just because that's to get the ND behind the lens changes everything.
mhm.
You don't need to think about it. But what FX6 also does, we are back on cameras. It is the auto ND. Have you seen that?
Yes,
And
yeah.
it looks
Mhm.
so smooth. Auto, it's just that looks crazy. But um, oh, you want to wrap this one up?
Yeah, I
I
think
think it's
so.
it.
Yeah, we're hitting a little
Yep.
over an hour. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we'll probably be talking about the Sony Alpha
Mhm.
1 again. And well, we might talk about a lens here and there. But um, yeah, so I want to stress to anybody listening or watching that you can ask us anything about us personally, what we do, or bring us some topic ideas that you want us to talk about here. And if you want to be on the podcast and you do something in the creative field outside of photography and film, we're still wanting to branch out on there. We have some people we're going to talk to and get on here.
Mhm.
We just got
Yeah.
to work. We got to work schedules out. So there will be other faces on here. So if anyone out there, email us at crap. It's the Creative Life podcast.
The Creative Talk podcast.
The
Yeah.
Creative Talk. Yeah, that's weird. The Creative Talk podcast. It is podcast is in it, right?
Yes.
I botch this every time. This is ridiculous. I just need to have a voiceover come in at the end. The Creative Life Podcast at absorbproductions.com or message us on we have an Instagram now.
Mhm.
What's that? What's the name of that?
The Creative Talk podcast. Mhm.
Just Creative Talk
Mhm.
Podcast. Is there no period or anything?
Nope.
It's cool. Yeah. So we have an Instagram now. So you can message us directly on there too. If the email is not clear enough, because I can never remember it. I need to have it like written in front of me. I have so many emails and stuff to remember all the time, and I forget this one. But yeah, so again, messages, anything, say hello. You want to be on, have a question, topic. But that's it. We are out of here, and that's the end of this one. We will see you next month, or next week, or tomorrow. Who knows?
Who knows?
See you guys.